Okay, now that I've realized... my scheduled tweet never sent today. There was supposed to be a tweet that, went off at noon to tell everybody that I was doing sunk boats. The tweet never sent, so that's nice. Thanks, Tweeter, for helping make sure I send tweets. Okay. Okay, there we go. Damn. Shit's... If it's not scuffed, it's... Why is it not working? Okay. Well, shit's fucked, but fixed. Now, I think. Okay! Hello, R6! Hello! I have a use for the pool now! I have a use for it. I don't know if you can hear the cat, actually. That was awfully quiet compared to the sea shanty too. Yeah, Twitter blue checkmark was today. That's probably what happened is it got fucked. Happy 420, everybody. Nice boat. Nice boat. let me fuck with volume of sea shanty. So we can still hear the cat critique. There we go. That's nice and good for the cat. Anyway! This is one of the weirder streams I think I'm gonna have. When do you get that? Okay, I will check the DM when I get chance. I made a PowerPoint. Beautiful, isn't it? Made in Google Slides. Totally not in 2 hours. Totally not. Yeah, it's still 420. No, something. You don't see stuff if you don't have a blue check mark. If you don't have a blue check mark, you don't get to see shit now. Only blue check mark people. Anyway! Welcome to Sunk Boat Night! where I will not give you facts because I don't remember facts. I only remember weird, eclectic things about boat. Nothing useful. Nothing useful. Thank you for the hydrate. Wait. Okay. Are the sunk boats from real sources this time? Technically. We're gonna talk about the fake one though, because I really like that one. We are gonna talk about it. It's in this PowerPoint slideshow Google thing. Alt title, what would you do with a sunken sailor? I don't know. I haven't had to do a presentation since my existence. Please read all the words in my presentation. All right. So slide 1, my favorite sunk boats. I don't know how to present things to you, so I use this template. Boats. Things that float. Typically float. They float on water, like the ocean. They are pretty, majestic, and floaty. Except when they are sunk. The Titanic. Beginning of sunk boat special interest. Oh no, decent! That sucks. We kind of had a storm earlier today. It was very brief. Titanic. You haven't missed much. We just started. We just started as Azrael. Sea Shanties 2 is still kind of playing in the background faintly, but might be very quiet. This is high school. They got a higher grade. Oh shit! I haven't done a PowerPoint since high school too, basically. I don't even think I had to make one for college. Boats are like the cars of the ocean, except they can't roll down their windows. Basically. Anyway. I can't remember much about, like, when I started really liking sunk boats. I'm not even, like, super interested in boating. I don't know how to explain it, but I don't like boating. Oh my god, I forgot to make the mind break. I forgot to make the mind break emote. Oh god, I forgot. I was too busy making the PowerPoint. It's fine. It's fine. I'll do it myself. I'll do it myself. There we go. Because we're gonna rant. This is the most 420 scene you can think of. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I didn't plan for it to be on 420, but it worked out, didn't it? Yeah. So I think the sunk boat special interest actually started with the Titanic movie. So picture this. It's a boring ass summer. You're in the middle of nowhere. Wi-Fi hasn't been invented yet, except it has, but this place doesn't have Wi-Fi. You've got a VHS player and an old ass TV. And one of the VHS tapes, except it's 2 because Titanic was a long ass movie and it was split into 2 tapes, is one of the few movies available for the VHS player. So as one does, because you have nothing better to fucking do in the middle of nowhere with no internet and no cable TV and only a VHS player, and the only other VHS is Care Bears, and you've seen that like 35 times by then, you put on the Titanic. This fat box with 2 fat fucking tapes in it. The movie is so long, you don't finish the first tape, and you beg your parents to acquire the tape. Because you need to know what happens up to the boat. Like, at that point I had learned about the Titanic disaster, I'm pretty sure. Like, it was a major historical event. I think it probably came up in history class or something. Or it was on the news, like the anniversary of it sinking, and they covered it. They're like, oh, it's so fuck. And so on and so forth. I watched this movie. It was a 2 cassette. It was a movie. I didn't finish the first cassette. And so we went and obtained the 2 cassette. And I finished both cassettes. And I was bawling. I was bawling before I even put in the second tape. I was in tears. I was like, oh my god, they're gonna die! The boat is sinking! And then the door thing is funny. And that in recent, like for the recent Titanic sinking anniversary, James Cameron reset up the shot, and he finally admitted that yeah, he guessed Rose and Jack could have fit on the door. They both could have fit on the door and lived. They both could have fit on the door. Oh my god, that was so fucking funny that he went back and he redid the. He was like, "I'll prove it to you all that Jack wouldn't have fit on the door." And then as soon as the experiment's concluded, he's like, "Well, shit, they could have fit on the door, huh?" Hmm. I gave one of these. I gave one of these people survivor's guilt for no fucking reason. Anyhow, boats, sunk boats. I think after that, I started like watching a bunch of Titanic documentaries and also reading a bunch of books on the Titanic. I didn't retain any of the information, which is the thing that's kind of funny because part of autism is that you retain stuff. Certain things you retain. I do not have the historical information retention. It goes in one ear and out the other. I only remember the movie, some pictures, and random ass facts. Like it being when it was discovered was like I think 1985. I don't remember anything else. Just Jack was a dumbass. He deserved it. But my fuck, don't talk to me about what I ate yesterday. Basically, and I give you characters trauma. You're not dramaing it right. Exactly. So that was the beginning of the interest. I read lots of books on Thing I Did. I read a lot of books on the Titanic. I actually don't know if this is the photo Titanic. So because this is a Google Slides thing, I found out I could just tell Google Slides to put images from Google. Except Google only uses images that are free in quotations. No, I'm still waiting. But during testing, they were like, so some people just retain historical shit, and we're checking to see if you do that. I don't do that. I don't retain the historical information. I go, I like this boat. This is a nice boat, especially that it's at the bottom of the ocean, where they'll never be able to obtain it. I don't know. Turns out maybe it takes so long because they don't want to break the news that I'm just stupid. I don't have autism. I'm just stupid. Like, damn, how do we tell this weirdo? She's just oh damn. But so like I'm smart. I'm a smart boat captain now of my Ina's boat sunken pending. But so I guess in like 2013 or 16, I don't know, when they discovered a new bacterium at the bottom of the ocean eating the Titanic. And that's so like someone like, they were posing the question of if they could ever like possibly crab game their way and grab the Titanic and pull it up off the ocean floor, convert it into a museum. I don't know why they would do that, because this thing is a massive carcass of shit. Just rust and rotting, covered in coral and sea life and shit. I don't know why you try and pull that shit up. That just sounds like a waste of money. But it is like permadeath now. It can never be taken off the ocean floor because the Titanic is so special. A new type of bacteria was found eating it, like eating the metal, so it will never come back up. It disintegrated immediately with the pressure change. There's that too. It's down there deep. Like, I remember like the first discoveries of the Titanic, they said like the glass of the pod they were in, I think cracked a little bit because of the pressure. So they had to come back up early because otherwise there was a risk they'd all fucking die trying to look at the Titanic. Because we didn't have the technology we have now. Because they have like new footage that was made in 2010. And they were just exploring the damn thing, like cruising on up. Right through the hull, right through the boat, right through the hallways. They were just, we're not afraid of pressure. But then like some dumbass was like, what if we turned it into a museum and dragged it up from the bottom of the ocean? And then they discovered a new bacteria was eating the metal. So that metal is fucked. That metal is fucked. There ain't no way it coming up. It ain't coming out of the ocean. It will stay there and it will turn to dust. after a couple more centuries, and then we won't know where it is anymore, and we'll never see it again, and I'll cry, but at least I'll be dead. Bacteria will get the it's like, I like boat. Num 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 num. One person touches, and then we have like boat themed zombie apocalypse. It's the that would be my new favorite game. How does zombie apocalypse happen? They rose the Titanic. Like that Ghostbusters bit! I remember in Ghostbusters, I love the scene in Ghostbusters 2, where like the dude's at the ship dock and he's like, we have a problem. And like, what's the problem, Joe? And Joe's like, there's a boat docking. And they're like, well, that's not a big problem, Joe. That's your job. He's like, no. It's the Titanic. Oh! I love that bit. Better late than never. I love that bit, and the Titanic's just fucking there. That's such a funny bit. I don't know how people will say it never happened, didn't exist. Yeah, then people will say it never happened, didn't exist. I don't know who this man is. This man dressed in red. I think he gave a TED talk. I actually think this might have been the dude that was like talking about the bacteria. I don't fucking know. These are all pictures that Google supplied. These are all pictures that Google supplied. I don't know what this is. I think this is like Captain? I don't fucking know. These are all pictures that Google said I could use. I don't know if it would have fucked my ass, but I wasn't about to download like so many pictures just to make a PowerPoint presentation. The boat looks like it's got a sad, droopy face. It kind of does. It's like, I sank. So, while doing research, because I did do a little bit of research, like I discovered, so it's been found recent, I don't know how recent, probably 2010, 2013, when they released the bacteria. I don't know who this person is. I don't know who this guy is. I don't know who that is. That might be, maybe it's James Cameron. I don't fucking know who anybody is. That might be James Cameron. I don't know. Who knows who that man is giving a TED Talk on the Titanic? Not me. But, they also found that it wasn't, it's your dad. Oh, wow. I didn't know he gave TED Talks. They also, so, it wasn't just the iceberg, apparently. So, like, recently, like, during new explorations, they found that it wasn't just the iceberg that really fucked up the Titanic. Apparently, this ship was just fucked. It could have been fucked by anything. So, there's records that were never reported, really. They were just kind of recently found through evidence of, like, looking at the ship and shit, and, like, photos. That the engine room caught on fire before its maiden voyage. Which fucked it. The fire reached a certain, like, temperature. So the metal in boats, on this boat particular, was kind of elastic. Because boats, yeah, they gotta have some give. The rivets and shit, all good, all good. The fire actually got to such a high temperature that it made the steel brittle. So whatever this fucking thing was made out of, the metal became brittle instead of being flexible. So if it had grazed the iceberg and it was still in like perfect condition, they might have taken on some water, but not to the extent that it did. Because the fire fucked the metal just broke and it flooded all the compartments so fucking fast that it was a done deal. No more Titanic. We're sinking, baby. Jack and Rose, you better get out of that sex car. It's time to go. Welcome back, R6. It was built with steel and hubris. It got the water put out the fire. Wait. Yeah. They just found that out. And apparently one of like the original photos of the Titanic at the dock before it left, like before they hit it with the fucking tapped it on the ass with the bottle or whatever. You can see evidence of where the fire was and that they were trying to hide it by cleaning it up, and you can still see soot and like fire evidence in the photo. And apparently they tried to move some shit around that was damaged, like on the deck, to another side, so that way nobody saw it in the nice like close-up glamour shot of the boat. I don't have those photos, those weren't on Google. You have no poor people, non-poor people first. Yeah, so a couple of days before its maiden voyage, the engine room caught on fire, and it made the steel brittle because apparently the metal was supposed to be flexible, so that way the water and the shit pushing against the boat, it has some give to it. So, a few days before its maiden voyage, fire happens. Fire got so hot it made the steel brittle. So when it hit the iceberg, it just shattered. No, bum bum bum, no more boat. Sank, sank, sank. Anna becomes obsessed with it. there's a Titanic museum, but I think it's a gimmick museum. I don't know like how educational it is because of where it's set up. It's basically set up in baby Las Vegas. So there's Las Vegas, and then there's this place, which is baby Las Vegas for conservatives. I don't know if it's actually an educational thing or if it's just a giant ass gimmick, but I kind of want to go. One of these days, I'm going to take the long ass journey to get there. I'm going to be like, tell me about the Titanic. And I think this is the place that gives you a name and a boarding pass, and you find out at the end if you died or not. So they're handing you real names of people and passengers. What do you have? Because of where it's situated. Because of where it's situated, it's in a conservative region of the United States, and I think it's next to like a mega church. Yeah, it sounds a little bit in poor taste because it's like, here you go, here's your boarding pass of a real person. You're dead. And then at the end you find out if you died. I think that's this place, but I kind of don't like that. But at the same time, I like it because it's the Titanic, and I've seen a photo of it while researching. And the museum, it's shaped like the Titanic. They made the museum boat shaped. They're dead. They won't mind. So it's a little weird. But that would also, it's like, the thing is, if they dragged the Titanic from the bottom of the ocean, converted it into a museum, it would feel kind of tasteless. Because it would feel, I don't know, people died in it. There's corpses. Well, actually, there's no bodies, apparently. If you follow what James Cameron said, I don't remember what his exact quotes is, he said the bodies have disintegrated by now, so there's no bodies. I think. By default. That's true. That's true. That is true. Profitable? Indefinitely. Yes. Tasteless, but profitable. I think there's one more slide. Nope. I don't know how to go back, so I'll just hang on here. I was gonna put footage from like the most recent Titanic documentary. Let me do that thing. I'm only gonna show like a clip from the most rewatched part of this documentary. There's no audio, so I'm just gonna let Sea Shanty do its thing. Damn, the fish from the Titanic got man. So this was like a documentary in 2010. This is what the boat looks like currently in 2010. And I think this is around the time they discovered the bacterium. Because apparently the boat was extremely well preserved when it was first discovered in like the 1985-ish region of time. When it was first discovered after it wrecked on like 19 something something. It was really well preserved. However, because of the discovery of the new bacterium eating it, the boat is apparently deteriorating faster now than it was. So things are getting real fucked up. Like, all this sand and debris and silt and shit. You can see, like, life forms and stuff as well, like little crabs and shit. It's its own ecosystem now. This is just the most rewatched part. You can see, like, a little hairbrush, like the corpse of a hairbrush. It was probably made out of bone or something. Because that's what tusks and shit. Ivory, that's it, ivory. You can see some shoes! In the sand, in the dirt, and the stuff. 100 years of getting burned down makes sense. Yeah. There's some, like, shoe. There's a shoe. Several shoes. They got There's a hat! There's a bowler hat being slowly decomposed by the ocean. And I think I don't know what that is. I don't know what half of this stuff is. I just look at it. I just look at it and go, I love, like, the decay. You can still kind of make out the writing on this thing. It's just turned to the side. It says, like, Davidson something. But, like, the fact that the writing is still very legible on this thing that's covered in coral and rusted to fuck, it's really cool. Probably made of lead. Do you like the fetish? I like it when it looks... There's a jar right there with a label on it. Look at that. If it's really compressed, but look, there's a jar with a label on it. How's that label still there? How's that label still... Is that a can of peas? I don't know. How is it still legible? This shit's fucked. I like it. This is... Wait. What's accurate? Plushies. I don't know what we're talking about. Anyway, look at all this stuff. It's covered in coral, like rust formations. I tried to find like interior shots, but I couldn't find like any current footage of the interior. It might be in here, but I didn't really want to look through almost an hour and a half. That's for me time. That's personal time. I'll do that later. Catch from the seas. But that looks like a fucking Ferrero Rocher box, but I know it's not. I think it's like bullets or ammunition. Anyway, and there's like the hull, like I think this is the front of the boat. It's like the front of the boat, I think. Anyway, Titanic, pretty fucking cool. I don't even remember how they discovered it. I think they were like taking like sonar and they were running across the bottom of the ocean, like boop, 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 boop. And then they noticed like discrepancies in like the mass, like, man, there's a steep jump here. Like it's pretty flat, and then all of a sudden it jumps. That can be like indicators of shipwrecks, I think. I think that's like how it works, is the sonar's like, damn, that's a pretty steep ass jump. We don't have any record of there being like shit here. And then they go down and they're like, oh my god, that's the Titanic. Oh my god, the Titanic. It's the Titanic. What's fun is finding cars at the bottom of lake sinkholes. Man, while doing research for this, I learned that Lake Erie has its own ship graveyard because the lake is so damn deep or something, and just boats go down in it. The lake is so big and so deep, boats just can't help but go down. Oh, showing the interior. I look upon. I gaze upon real fast. We're gonna be here for a while. I have a backup in case I finish early. The RMS Titanic is the Titanic. Has like big figure lakes. I'm just gonna turn off the music because I think the she shanty's funnier. That lake also catches on fire? Really? I don't know a lot about the Lake Erie system. I only found out that, damn, you can see the difference in footage already whenever this one was taken. And you can also see a difference in the quality of the ship. Like, there's still railing not covered by coral formations or rust. Look at the difference, like, from this one to the last one we just looked at. The ship isn't as fucked up. From what I remember, the temperatures of the water and, like, the sea life that can inhabit those temperatures made for, like, a perfect breeding ground for preservation. We used to live on one. Oh. I missed the fucking dock at the end of the step. Oh no! What a time to be alive. What year was this? Do they have a year? No, they don't. They don't have a year. They just have hours. Or is there? I don't know how to read that. That was in like French or something. Anyway, also look at that thing. It's not covered up by rust or coral. It's nuts. Damn. Why your family staying there? Sounds like that lake was cursed. It's nuts. It's nutty. The Titanic was like apparently the conditions for preservation of the boat, the quality of the water, the quality of like the sea life, perfect for preserving a lot of the artifacts and a lot of the stuff inside the boat. Not so much now with that bacteria. Not so much now. It's very interesting. I find it fascinating, just like the idea of stuff. We'll talk about another museum that I got to go to with hubby because hubby was indulging my sunk boats hobby. Less hobby and more fascination. And the museum was close enough for us to make a day trip out of it. And that one is fantastic. I love that one. Oh, my dad repairing the fishing boat. Just put in, they had to get some scuba divers. Oh, cool stuff. Body of water was on fire. Oh shit. Hates it. Yeah, I have a fear of the ocean. How's the that's the light refracting off the thingies in the light. I was like, how's that light on? That's weird. That's fucked up. Hot ghosts. Look at that fucked up light. It's got a coral plant on it. Water drove off. Oh my god. Sheesh. Oh, I like this ghostly footage. They're like, this is what it would look like if people were still walking around on the Titanic. They're dead, Susan. It's so, and like that clock is still in place. That's so weird. Well, it's not weird, but it's kind of cool the clock isn't still in place. Look at that bed. It's still mostly okay. Look at that light. Still mostly okay. It's so fascinating. It's a treasure trove of artifacts, but no one's really wanting to pull up any artifacts from the Titanic from what I understand. Like, it's the Titanic. Shit's fucked. What are we gonna do? Look at that wood. Look at that wood. I would have figured the wood would have been rotted by now, but like I said, I think like preservation and stuff of the temperature. The Costa Concordia is a different story. We'll touch on the Costa Concordia, but not by much because the internet historian covered it really well. Yeah, lots of dirt and disintegrated materials. The stained glass is still like really pretty. It's still intact. I just really enjoy looking at things like this. That's why it was so frustrating for me when that Wreck of the Unbelievable documentary turned out to be fake. Because I was so excited that a treasure trove of stuff had been found. Because that's honestly, I think, why I like it so much, is when stuff gets found. I have told many people that if I had one talent, I could sacrifice everything else. One talent, it would be to be really good at finding sunken ships and lost stuff, like lost wrecks. I would want to be the person exploring those things, except I am deeply afraid of diving and cave systems and spooky, scary, dark places, so I wouldn't be very good at it. They'd be like, Aina, you found another wreck. Are you ready to explore it? I'd be like, you're going first. I'm not going in the water, you fool. How'd I make good money? I'd charge people for it. I'd be like, you want to find Flight 19 from the Bermuda Triangle? Pay me, bitch. I'll tell you the location. I would just sit on the boat and be like, it's over there. And then I'd point. And then I'd be like, okay, dive here. Pay me money. I did it. I'd be like, pay me. Yeah. Okay, we move on from Titanic. This is probably a good time to lead into the next bit. Technically sunk boats in the Bermuda Triangle. Later found to be a fraud. No! That would be the worst. So the sunk boats thing definitely morphed into a fascination with the Bermuda Triangle because the Bermuda Triangle produces so much lost, wrecked shit. I love it. I don't know if it's a real thing or if people just are so nervous because like, oh, it's the Bermuda Triangle. They accidentally fuck up and wreck their stuff. Or if it's actually a spooky ghost triangle that eats people and ships. Oh, it's connected to Florida. That makes sense. So I found out that there is enough wreckage in the Bermuda Triangle that they make a business out of it. They made a business where you can go wreck diving in the Bermuda Triangle specifically. In fact, they host Halloween specials where they kind of dress up the wrecks with spooky shit in it. That feels so weird to me. That feels really weird. So fucking weird. It sounds cool in theory, but at the same time, like, people might have died on that boat that you're dressing up like a haunted house. Also, that just seems like a waste of time to me to put decorations down there to make the wreck scary, when I think it would be scarier. The wreck itself is scary enough. Like, there's that game, Man of Medan. I watched a playthrough of it, and it starts off with them exploring like a fucked up plane that wrecked underwater. Ah, perfect timing for a Toka tweet. Yeah, being underwater by a giant ship is scarier. So it starts off with like these divers exploring a wrecked plane, and then a ghost ship appears, and then they get like high or something. Thank you for the hydrate. They get high or something, and I don't know. The game is weird. I really like the game, watching it, not playing it because I don't like horror games too terribly much, but I love the premise because 1, it had a wrecked sunk airplane. 2, it had not a technical sunk boat, but a ghost boat. There was, so like ghost ships are like ships that are on the ocean still floating, but they're abandoned and covered in shit. It had that in it, and my brain was immediately tickled pink, like, sunk boat, but not sunk boat, still float so boat. And I immediately watched the entire playthrough and was like, oh, that was kind of disappointing, actually. Surprise, there was no paranormal investigation. It was just a boat. They were just high. The Bermuda Triangle's on it. It's a giant, great place of the right size, right balance of remoteness, but frequency to travel led a lot of emergencies, but not having enough other boats or planes around us. See, that makes sense to me. This is like the USS Cyclops? Flight 19, Mary Celeste thingy. I think someone in chat the other day... Hat Times, the OC has a sunk boat. Sunk boat. Immediately 10 of 10 game. Doesn't even matter, I haven't played it. I'm like, oh, sunk boat! Sunk boat! But someone in chat the other day mentioned the Mary Celeste, and I was like, I don't know what that fucking is. If they had just said it got lost in the Bermuda Triangle, my dumbass probably would have been like, oh, that one. I shit you not. They would have been like, Bermuda Triangle, something, something, something. Thing. Amelia Earhart's plane? I don't know which one Amelia Earhart's plane is. I remember there was a documentary that came out recently, though. And by recently, I mean probably like 2010s. Where they found some like photographic evidence that Amelia Earhart might have just like escaped to Thailand or something and just lived the rest of her days out in Thailand. I don't know the name of the documentary, so you can't quote me on that. But there's like pictures of like a plane being like pulled into Thailand docks. And a pilot that's kind of obscuring their face. It's weird. That, or she got eaten by coconut crabs. There's also that. She might have just been fucking eaten by coconut crabs. They're massive and they're fucking scary. If I was gonna be stranded anywhere, I'd pick an island that didn't have coconut crabs. No coconut crabs, please. They will fuck you up. They are nuts. They are scary and I don't like them. But Flight 19 was a different flight. I don't even think they ever found the wreckage of Flight 19. I think they found wrecked planes, but for some reason, they've never proven if they're Flight 19 or not. I don't know how that works. I guess there's not enough evidence to prove that these wrecked planes are Flight 19. Yeah, coconut crabs don't take shit from nothing. They will kill you. They are mean. Just there's no reason not to assume that given the type. That's the thing. Is if she did crash, she probably just crashed, got eaten by coconut crabs, or just drowned at sea. They make it out to be this great mystery, but honestly, the ocean is so big. The reason we haven't found a lot of this stuff is because the ocean is so big and full of currents. It's very possible that it can be swept up by an oceanic current and just, phew, gone. Not anywhere close to where you thought it sank because the ocean current carried it somewhere else. And then it went down, and now it is buried there. And it's really hard to find stuff because the ocean is so big and it's so unexplored. In the future, some dumbass will probably find Flight 19, and if I'm still alive, I'll eat that shit up. I'll be like, you found it? God bless. I love it. Make a documentary, please. Get me that 4K high quality footage so I can stare at it and go, God damn, it's beautiful. That's all I want. Yeah, I've been around coconut crabs. Yeah, they're huge. They are not the average crab size. They look like a small dog to a medium-sized dog. They are not playing. They are a fucking massive horror. I don't ever want to encounter a coconut crab. It would probably kill me. Cannot be discounted either. See, that's another thing too, is that if they successfully landed in this foot, it's just hard to know. We don't have the technology to know these things. These are photos taken from like the wreck diving tours they do. They were some of the ones that I could use. It's very fascinating that like they've made a business out of the Bermuda Triangle being filled with garbage and just wrecked boats. And also, they're still having issues with that. So while researching this, I found a list of Bermuda Triangle incidents. The latest incident is from 2022. They're still having issues with this damn triangle. This damn triangle is still fucking shit up. Last year, basically. Yeah, it is basically last year. It's 2023. It's either 2022 or 2020. I might be getting my dates wrong. I might be getting my numbers fucked up. But it's still having recent issues. This triangle is either powerful, it's either magnetic, or UFOs. Those are the three lists. Those are the three options that people keep giving. They're like haunted, magnetic, it's not real, or UFOs. I don't think UFOs would be stealing our stuff. I know it was a plot in a movie. I think it was Close Encounters of the Third Kind, where it showed UFOs stealing a boat out of the Bermuda Triangle. I remember watching documentaries on the History Channel of all places, because the History Channel is not very much a History Channel anymore. They just show random shit. It was a Bermuda Triangle thing, and they had an illustration of a boat being sucked up out of the ocean by a UFO, and the dude was like, you can't disprove that aliens didn't steal that boat. Why would the aliens steal a boat out of the ocean? Tell me why. Yeah, what do you mean a documentary? It's a documentary though. It's on the History Channel and they called it a documentary, but it's not. It's an illustration. These UFOs just fucking hated that boat. They were like, that boat particular, it fucking dented my saucer while I was keeping it in the ocean, because that's a thing like UFO people are crazy about, is they think the ocean has underwater bases and UFOs just pop out of the ocean. I mean, no one can disprove it, but no one can prove it either. The moment that we find aliens at the bottom of the sea, oh, we're fucked. We're fucked. Like the abyss. Cough, cough. No one can prove it or disprove it. But that's the Bermuda Triangle. This is a water spout taking over the Bermuda Triangle, and it's pretty cool. I thought this photo was really cool. I don't know what this is. It came up with Bermuda Triangle. I put it here. It's like some sort of submarine. It might have, like, I don't think it would have gone missing in the Bermuda Triangle. I think people just don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about. I think this is another wreck from this thing. There's a lot of sunk shit. I watched tons and tons of shows about the triangle and the wreckages. I don't know if that's the same. Lots of sunk boats, but boats are never found. There's enough. They offer diving tours. Very cool. Too scared to do. That's my bit about the Bermuda Triangle. That's my bit. That's my whole thing. Very cool. Like all the wreckages. Don't want to participate. Water spout? More like a transference array. What's the X-Files theme? I don't remember it. Shit, that's like an iconic thing. I can do Jeopardy. Instead of the alien X-Files themes. forget that? That's silly. That's silly. How do you forget X-Files? Full version? 5 minutes? Why is the full version 5 minutes? Oh, there it is. They forgot. There you go. Water spout? More like UFO. You forgot because they wanted you to forget. Gosh. God, goodness gracious. Look for the lowest quality video. Maybe towards the end. I do have, if we finish this, I do have a plan. If we finish this, I do have a plan. If it's 140p, it's a good one. I do have a plan. I was given a present, and it's a boat game. Alright, this is the museum I got to go to. We're actually towards the end of the slideshow. This one I can probably talk about for a good while, though. I can talk about this one for a good while because I've been here. Yeah, baby! So, I was talking to hubby about my sunk boats enthusiasm. I was like, man, I really like this. I don't even remember how we got on the topic. I really don't know how we got on the topic. Probably just randomly was like, hey, so I like sunk boats. I really like them. It might have been around the time that the Costa Concordia Internet Historian came out. That might have been the trigger. But hubby mentioned there was a museum about a sunk boat that's technically landlocked. And I was like, now how the fuck is there a sunk boat that's landlocked? It's because it sunk in the Missouri River. It sunk in the river. The only one I have visited. I want to visit more sunk boats, but some of them are interesting, some of them aren't. But this one is called the Steamboat Arabia. It is a steamboat that went down in, I think, the Missouri, or I think it's the Missouri River. It sank. However, it's super fucking fascinating. It fucking it tickles my pickle. I love this thing. So the boat sank in the Missouri River. It hit some sort of like debris and it fucked up. It got, because these are steamboats made of wood with steam engines and the paddle. Ooh. It's the steamboat, the paddle, everything. So it gets hit by debris in the river. They don't see it. It fucks up the bottom of it. They're going down. It was a log. They have the log on display. I remember that. They have the log on display, the thing that killed the boat, the thing that sunk it. The log snag. That's what it's called. It's a snag. You have seen my pick one. So it sinks, and it sinks very fast. However, there's only one casualty. Everyone is able to escape except a donkey that was tied to the railing of the boat. They are not able to untie the donkey. Everyone gets off safely. The boat sinks. Does that? No, actually, World War II boats. Maybe it's because I've never been to any of them, because they're the museum is like, I think, in Hawaii, and I don't plan on going to Hawaii anytime soon. So I've never been to one of those museums. But this one I have been. So my ass is my ass is all titillated. So boat goes down. The only thing that it dies is a donkey. The boat sinks at a rate, and so the Missouri River, the bottom of the Missouri River is composed of a lot of mud and silt. The boat sinks, and it's sinking so quickly that it disturbs a lot of the mud and silt, and it perfectly compacts into the boat and perfectly preserves its cargo and a majority of the boat. That water wheel is on display, and it moves, and it runs water through it because the water wheel was almost practically perfectly just like preserved. The wood was so well preserved they could reconstruct it, and I think those are the original rivets too. Everything! Everything was fucking perfectly preserved at a rate. That's the steam engine. My ancestor. That's the steam engine. So the reason this museum is really fascinating is that it is the largest pre-Civil War artifact deposit ever discovered. This discovery is also pretty cool to help you make. Actually, so this is the real fucked up thing. The government refuses to fund this museum, so it is entirely funded by ticket sales. It is entirely funded by donations and ticket sales. In the US, at least. Yes, in the US. So this museum is all entirely funded by people going to see it. Because the government, for some reason, will not give them a grant. Because we actually met the dude who discovered it. And he was giving a lecture that day that we were there. And someone asked the question why it's so hard for them to continue to preserve stuff, because they're restoring and preserving stuff still. They still haven't gotten even through like a majority of what they discovered. And he said that for some reason they can't get a grant from the Missouri government, and they've actually tried asking for grants from the Smithsonian, and the Smithsonian rejected them. I don't know how long the museum was built after. Government science shit. They don't want people to know. So I think this wreck was discovered in the 80s or the late 90s. The way it was discovered is really fascinating. So they were actually looking in the wrong place. There's pickle, yeah. There's a lot of stuff in this like whole museum that's fascinating. Like, they still have perfectly preserved food that if you opened it, you could eat it. They don't recommend it because it's 100 years old practically. But they still have perfectly preserved jars of pickles. They still have perfectly preserved cans of beans. Canned food. Like, jars of stuff. Dry goods. It's perfectly preserved because of the mud and the silt and the temperature. But the interesting thing about this ship is that so it sank in the Missouri River. It got on a snag, it sank. The experimented canned fish. Not so dry goods. I think they still have like the boxes, maybe. I don't remember what was in the boxes. It might have just been like the packages and maybe not the food so much. I just remember being like enthralled by everything. But so apparently around it sank. It sunk in 1856. 170 years old, pre-Civil War. They go looking for it, and they can't find it in the current position of the Missouri River because, surprise, surprise, a couple of like decades or so ago, the Missouri River actually jumped. It flooded, the river jumped and changed course. So they were looking in the wrong place. So they start doing some digging and figure out where the Missouri River used to be. And it turns out where the Missouri River used to be is now farmland. They find this motherfucking boat in the middle of some rando farmer's cornfield. And, like, they dig up his whole fucking yard finding shit. This man is like, yeah, I guess you can dig in my cornfield. Oh, you found a fucking boat in it? Wow, okay. Some randos show up on your door like, hey, do you mind if we poke around your cornfield? You're like, yeah, sure, it's the off season. It was winter when they found it. Because it was the off season. Like, yeah, sure, go whatever. It's the off season. I'm not planting. Find a whole big ass perfectly preserved boat. Alright, cool. So the guy that was there who discovered it was talking about it and how he and his team were like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, we could make so much money selling these. And then he said he had a revelation, and he was like, no, that's wrong. We should fund a museum and display this for everyone to see. And that motherfucker he deserves a big-ass reward. He deserves a big old star sticker stuck on the front of his museum. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for putting this stuff on display for my dumbass to wander around your museum for like 3 or 4 hours. For me to not touch the glass because you told me not to. But I wanted to press my face on so much stuff. I wanted to get as close as I fucking could to everything. Okay, it was used for thousands of years for science. Oh my goodness. Americans got very good at making preserved foods. They wouldn't. Yeah, that's the thing. So this boat in particular had a shit ton of cargo because the passengers were actually going to settle the West. There's like documents and shit, or like a ledger. A lot of the cargo was for building houses, setting up settlements. They were going to settle the West, or parts of it anyway, because of Louisiana Purchase and all that shit. I don't know my dates in history. All I know is these people were gonna go hoof it out and hope to God they didn't die of dysentery and whatever else was out there. Yeah, we bought a splinter of the wood. We were like, yeah, I'll take one of them. I'll take a fragmented piece of wood and dirt. I'll take that. So like this is a lot of leather, like leather shoes and clothing. That's enough. Like the thing is that the mud and silt flooded the boat so fast and so well. They were able to reconstruct shoes and shit. They're able to reconstruct the clothing from this wreck. Because the only thing that deteriorated while buried in all that silt and mud was the thread. Because the thread was like a cheaper like fiber. So all of those shoes and shit are reconstructed with like nylon thread and shit. So it's much more it's much more durable for, display. The guy was explaining the process, and he says that they take it out of its storage because these things have been waterlogged for 170 years. They have to dehydrate them because it's a lot of leather and animal hide. It has to be dehydrated and then carefully restitched together because it's so waterlogged. But if wait. Yeah, you'd hang an axe after buying the head. Yeah. I remember they saying that they slowly replaced the shit and then filled it with other shit. Yeah, it's so cool. They had to take out the water, and I think hubby's right. They extract the water and then they slowly replace it with preservative because it will rot because it's so fucking old. Here's a bunch of knives and shit, pocket knives, pipes. Like these are like little tobacco pipe heads without the wood. And this was all the construction stuff. All these nails, rivets, doorknobs, door hinges. They were just gonna make their own fucking building. They just needed the metal parts. Making a handle for an axe is called hanging. Alright. That's cool. Oy. Yeah, I went to a museum and I got wood. I almost bought a VHS tape / DVD of the discovery of it. However, I didn't end up buying it because it turns out it was only a 20-minute short film that I had already watched because they had a theater for viewing. So for 20 minutes, you watch that film. I almost bought the DVD, but then I double-checked and I realized it was the film they had on display, and I was like, okay, that's not really worth it. And it's also on YouTube. Oh, thank you for following! Welcome in. What an interesting night for you to join, huh? I'm ranting about boats. My special interest. But, I bought a snow globe. So that was we got a little sliver of wood, and then I got a snow globe. And it has a Steamboat Arabia in it, and you shake it up, and it's got glitter and fluid, and I like watching the glitter settle, and I go, this is a sunk boat. Oy. I will post a link to the server. It's a pretty cool video. They also have a lot of glassware, like original china sets, porcelain that's perfectly preserved. There was like 100 or so holy Bibles that are still in perfectly preserved condition. It's very fascinating that the rate and speed at which it sank was able to preserve so much of the artifacts just because it filled up with mud and silt. And there it sat. So online, they do not have any pictures of the donkey because they have the body of the donkey, the only casualty during the sink, They have the body of the donkey on display, and it's the bones. It obviously is dead. It drowned. But it also was pretty well preserved. You can kind of see the position in which it died in. It's a little fascinating. And then they have the snag that hit it and sank the boat on display. The boat killer. They've got the engine. Super cool shit. Yeah. Logged with mud, blocking water and air, like an instant tar pit fossilization. It's very cool. Yeah, it sank so fast it was encapsulated, like, so fast. Super cool shit. For some reason, government won't give them funding even though it's a massive deposit of pre-Civil War artifacts. They are still restoring stuff. It's nuts. A very cool water wheel. That's what I wrote about it. I like this one a lot. It's so fucking cool. We spent a good, practically the whole damn day there. Boat was absolutely fucking massive. The water wheel is like 3 stories tall. Like, there's a basement of the museum, the middle floor, and then it goes into the top floor. I'm pretty sure. It's a massive fucking wheel. It was a huge boat. It's a massive steamboat. Huge! The documentary that I can link later has like a photo of the entire area they dug out. They dug up this whole man's fucking cornfield. It was long and big. Sunk in the big muddy. Yeah, fuck the state. This is huge. It is. I don't understand the Missouri government and why they don't fund this thing. This is a huge historical deposit. There's just so much stuff. They're still restoring it. He said, so the guy was there and he was talking, and he said they probably haven't even restored a full third of what they found because there's just so much and they don't have enough manpower or funding, because it's all independently funded, to restore all of it quickly. So they just have to keep it on ice and preserved it. I asked the governor on Twitter about it. Hello, I am a VTuber rando. It would be very cool if you gave this museum more funding. Winky face. Immediately the museum is funded. Ina saves the day. My sunk boat passions come to fruition. How did you get this museum funded? Some random ass pink-haired VTuber was talking about us on Twitch.tv. If for some reason, if you are ever in like the Kansas City, Missouri area, and you have time to kill and you can go, I would highly recommend going to the Steamboat Arabia exhibit museum. And they sell you fucking wood. They do. And also, I remember admission only being like $10, $12 a person. $10 to $12 a person. Children are cheaper. That's fucking insane. They are charging so little for me to go in there and breathe all over their stuff. Granted, there's glass separating me, but I'm pretty sure I would have tripped every alarm if I knew to be if I was any less aware of myself. And stare through the windows. We had to drive a ways to get there. I don't live in that area. It was a day trip. But what if you show up to the museum and I'm just standing there like, welcome, I knew you would come. And then I just sit there and be like, so anyway, Steamboat Arabia. I don't talk about anything else, just like, look at that boat. Look at that boat. Look at that steam. Look at that steam engine. I don't mention anything. I live in the sewers. I live in the sewers. You'll find me at the very depths of the water wheel. That's where I am. Licking the wood. Does the museum also have a food bar? I don't know. I don't think we ate there. It was a day trip, and I think... So it was situated in like a farmer's market area, which is the weirdest thing to me. We arrived and I was like, all right, time to go to the museum. And then there was a full-blown fucking market. And I was like, excuse me, what? Where's my boat? I think we ate at one of the market stalls. I think there was a candy shop in there randomly because it's not just the museum. There's like a few little dinky stores lining the area, but the museum is the main attraction. Oh, that's right. It was a cultural hub. There you go. It was like a market cultural thing. They're just on that hustle. On that farmer market grind. Yeah. Part of their revenue was that farmer market. Yay. Oh. Good enough. Good enough. Yeah. I highly recommend it though. It's granted, it's not big if you're not a boat fanatic. It's huge in some regards. Like, you can be there for a good 2 hours. We were there, I think, for 3 or 4 because I wanted to keep going and looking back at stuff. I think I probably dragged Hugby in circles because I'd be like, I want to go look at the glassware again. I want to go look at this again. I want to go look at this again. And then the guy started talking, and I was like, no, we gotta listen to that man. I was probably very annoying, but I was so excited. I was like, this is the greatest day ever. They actually let you walk through a bit of it. I think they reassembled part of the boat, and you could kind of walk and look at it, like look around it. That wasn't the water wheel. It was it's so good. I love it. If I lived closer, and it wouldn't take a good portion of my life just driving back and forth to see the museum, I'd probably go at least once a month. And then they'd be like, ma'am, please stop coming. Oh, that's right. That was this was this visit. We ate at a Vietnamese place, and it was like a hole-in-the-wall restaurant. But that's how you know the flavors are authentic. Because it wasn't very pretty to look at, and the seating was limited. But the food tasted good. That's how you know it's gonna be good, if it's a hole in the wall. If it's like mainstream, the flavors are usually like more modern, or not modern, more Americanized for American palates. This place did look like it could not give a shit. This place looked like they would spit in your face if you had a complaint. We didn't have a complaint because the food was good. But this place looked like that. It looked like it would beat your ass. Was there a kid doing it? Worker? Oh, a hole in the wall carries a greater risk of dying from eating it, though. We didn't die, though. We had a pretty good time. And then I think we got a free pie. Yeah, I think we got a free pie. Because the farmer's market stall thing collection was closing down. And we had just left the museum. And we had gotten our piece of wood, and I got my snow globe. And I was like, I would like a treat before we leave. And I walked up to this stand, and I was like, you got treats? And they were like, just take a whole ass pie. And I was like, okay. I don't know how to get this home without it melting. Thank you, though. Good thoroughfare. Or just, oh shit. That's most of the museum, though. Oh lord. Now to talk about the secret fumes of the museum infected Ina with boat. See, I was already into boats before this, though, but maybe made it worse. This is the Not a Real Sunk Boat and I Feel Betrayed segment. Yay! So, couple years ago, Netflix releases this documentary called The Wreck of the Unbelievable. There is no tag whatsoever on that documentary at the time that says it's a mockumentary. Looking at these pieces now, I can see that they were never at the bottom of the fucking ocean. These are definitely art pieces. The coral is too colorful. Also, just too well placed. Too well placed. From a sunk boat, that's neat? Hell yeah. Tell me more about it if you remember. But looking at these pieces now, they are obviously not actually from the bottom of the fucking ocean. At the time, though, at the time, my ass was all for this damn thing. I was so excited. I watched it, and I think I watched it several times. I told a lot of people about this stupid thing, including my like mother-in-law. I don't remember what we were doing, but I was like, "Do you want to watch a sunk boat documentary?" And she was like, "Sure, Ina, okay." And I showed her this one, and she was like, "It's so unbelievable that all this stuff was just at the bottom of the ocean." And I was like, I know, right? It's so amazing. It's so cool. Wasn't fucking real. It was for an art show. This was a promotion for a fucking art show. And they didn't even put a mockumentary tag on it. They were playing this up like it was a full-blown documentary. It was like some brass or bronze mechanism for either. Oh, ooh. Damn. She was just being. She was like, I don't want to tell Ina this isn't real. She's really into it. I'll put up the trailer though. So, like, the trailer doesn't help either. The trailer does not help. Also, the full documentary is on YouTube now if you just want to fucking waste your time. If you just want to waste your fucking time. So this was the trailer Netflix released.
One thing that really excited me about the whole project is how you inhabit the past. It's unknowable, really.
Like, they actually put this shit underwater and placed it like they were discovering it. Look at that!
The collection is about belief.
They placed it like they were discovering all this shit and hauling it out of the ocean like they had discovered this unknown boat. Granted, at the very bottom of that trailer, you can see a copyright that says the name of the artist and his artworks. God, I'm really bad at pausing. Can I please pause? There we go. Artworks, copyright of Damien Hirst. Let's watch the Rangy stream. No, it's sunk boats. Though I'm happy that Aunt Rangy is celebrating her second anniversary. I am happy for her. When we end this stream, you're more than welcome to go party it up at her place. You can tell her Ina sent you, but I don't know her that well. So I feel like that would be awkward. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know if she would care to know a bunch of boat fanatics showed up at her stream. I'm still mad about it, but it's cool. It was a solar system model that was hand cranked and used to predict eclipses and things. That's pretty fucking cool. I'll have to look into that. The Antikythera mechanism. Nice. But now that I know it's artworks, I appreciate the hustle. Well, not appreciate. I can respect the hustle. I do not appreciate being misled. They should have put it as a mockumentary. They should have never tried to pass it off as a real thing. Like, the top multiple articles for this documentary are people discovering that's fucking fake. But also, the artist was trying to make fun of, like, sunk discoveries. It didn't feel very, like, homage-y. It felt like he was poking fun at people who enjoyed this stuff. Because, apparently, one of his artworks has a massive Made in China stamp on its tit that was in full display during the documentary. But people were just so hyped they didn't notice it. It feels like less poking fun and more like mean. It doesn't make me feel good that I was bamboozled by a documentary that I thought was real. It's cool. The artwork is cool. I respect the hustle. But kind of mean, kind of rude, kind of just not nice. It feels mean. Like I keep saying, it feels mean. It feels like you're trying to make people feel stupid for believing it was real. It's just not nice. I don't like it. I don't care for it. For the humans 2,000 years were a little the same species and had the same brain. Yeah, that's the thing, is that people who say aliens did it, it's a little silly. And you're discrediting your ancestors' achievements. We had a lot of ingenuity back then. We figured shit out. It was fine. We were cool as fuck, and now we're like, e-girl. I say as you watch me talk about sunk boats. I tricked you by literally lying to you, stupid fuck. Give me more money for my art. Yeah, that's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like it'd be fine if, like, they made it obvious in the first 5 minutes this was a mockumentary. If they made, like, some sort of funny little... If they made it more jokey, but they play it so fucking serious. They even come up with lore and backstory and, like, fake documents for, like, this boat that is a lost ship that was carrying tons of ancient Greek treasures looted from Egypt or something. I don't remember what their backstory was. But they made an entire fake ledger. And they were like, we discovered these ledgers recently, and it mentions a ship that no one's ever heard of carrying secret treasures because it was a secret ship. Don't fucking do that! If you're gonna make a mockumentary, please make it very apparent that it is fake, or tag it as such so we can appreciate the spectacle. If I had known it was just a jazzy, hyped up promotion for an art show, I probably still would have liked it for the artistry. But because it's a mockumentary that takes itself very seriously and didn't originally advertise it was a mockumentary, I feel like it's kind of not nice. The art's cool though. The art looks cool. I will say that. The art's pretty cool. I just don't appreciate how it was promoted. Internet historian boat video. Costa Concordia kind of counts as a sunk boat. It was deconstructed. It was towed and deconstructed, but it counts. I'm not going to talk too long about this one because the Internet historian has a very long, like a 40-minute video about it. If you have not seen Internet historian's coverage of the Costa Concordia, I highly recommend it. Oh, thank you for the follow, Mustar. Welcome to my boat stream. I talk about my boat interests tonight. Maybe I might play a little game after. Not about this. A different game. A spooky game. But it has a boat in it. But, Costa Concordia. I'm pretty sure this led to going to the Sunk Boat Museum. Your favorite Interstellar? It's great. This one's so good. The whole, like, reenactment bits. I love them. They're so good. This was a more, like, modern, almost like a modern-day Titanic, but not really. Not really. But it's comparable. It also launched on the day the Titanic sunk. Not a very good day to sail a ship, I think, but whatever. Not a good thing, not a good idea. I couldn't find many pictures that were free to use because Google is weird when it lets you input stuff into its slides. But this one is fascinating to me just because we have so much footage and before and after pictures. Like, the Titanic, we had a couple of before and after pictures, but they're very grainy, they're black and white, they're not in color, and they're just not good quality. The Internet Historian's video, where he shows the comparison between them, is probably my favorite part, just seeing the before and after of the destruction, well, not the destruction, of like the decay of being half rolled over into the ocean and what it does after just sitting there for a couple of years. It's very boggling. Thank you for the hydrate. I mean, I guess it's less boggling because we know science and salt and corrosion and things. But it's still, like, really fun to look at. Not so much the disaster part, but, like, the after effects. It's like people who enjoy disaster movies. They like watching the disaster and the after parts. I don't know. The enjoyment just comes from. Ooh, I don't know how to put it into words. I just really like it. I like it a lot. Is there any more? Oh, a bunch of honorable mentions because I don't remember the names and they were random YouTuber videos. There's a lot of sunk boat footage. Sometimes the disaster is the movie. Yeah. There's a lot of YouTubers that their entire shtick is covering top 10 shipwrecks around the world. Sometimes if I'm working and I'm having trouble focusing, I will put that on in the background. Not so much these days because I've seen a lot of them. Once you've seen a shipwreck top 10, they kind of repeat themselves. I've noticed that a lot. They don't really have anything new to offer. The mechanism was found in a shipwreck off the Greek coast in 1901. The mechanism was built before 200 BC. It displayed the motions of the sun and moon with modern understanding of the changing velocity of the moon during its orbit, and a section of it was missing. Likely for other planets. God, we were so smart! And then Christianity. No, that was mean. That was mean. That was a mean comment. That was a mean comment. But it's still boggling to me that people are like, we weren't that smart back then, it was aliens. You're not very, you don't make yourself look good when you say pyramids were built by aliens. That was good! I'm pretty sure, I mean, we were pretty fucking wild, and then suddenly we weren't allowed to be wild anymore, and we were leading crusades and being stupid. Kind of shit takes. I don't know. It's something to think about. Someone's gonna be like, why not? That was really rude and cringe. And I'll be like, okay, cool. After the Roman collapse, though. These parts of it did? Okay, well, at least they preserved the knowledge. I don't know. I feel like we got a little too hung up on who was right and we stopped being smart for a little bit there. At least they were preserving shit. I don't know. I don't remember a lot of things from history class. I just know it feels like if we weren't so angry about stuff or who was right and who was wrong, we would have been better off. That's just my opinion. But also it's history and I can't change that. We can try and not repeat our mistakes though. Except we keep doing it. You just think of the George Carlin bit? Maybe I don't know that bit. The retaliation invasion of Europe, those Spain. I don't fucking remember half of this shit. See, remember, I don't retain history. I barely remember anything from history class. What I do remember is that I was told the people that wrote a lot of the illuminated texts were definitely fucking. I had a really cool history teacher who was like, yeah, people aren't very cool with the gay right now, but remember, those monks, they were definitely fucking. Those monks were not celibate. Those monks were definitely fucking. And I was like, that's wild. That's wild, man. They were bored of drawing and writing all day and like, hey, Steve, you wanna shuck some corn? Except they don't have corn, I don't think. Yeah, they don't have corn. But anyway, that's what Steve said, and his friend was like, hell yeah, let me take off my Pope hat. But it's gold. Oh, thank you. It's gold. Also, since you're terrorists in coast of Europe, which made them... Yeah, there's a lot of history I just don't remember. There was so much of it, and I only remember the bits that I internalized, like the Pope, the people, the priests fucking, and other stuff. Yeah, history be like, and they were good friends. And also a lot of, like... I remember having to write a history paper, and this was, like, the cool teacher. So they let me do research on the likelihood of homosexuality in the Knights of the Round Table. And granted, I couldn't find shit. But I did learn that Lancelot was an OC some random woman inserted into the lore, and she was like, fuck yeah! I'm putting my OC in there! He wasn't real! He was her fucking OC that she wanted to have sex with. And I respect that lady. I respect her a lot. Why was it easy for a lot of different European nations to be united across Crusades by killing each other? Moments before? One spooning him real good. We can take an educated guess that we're close friends. Man, that's how it is. That's how it is. And then some historian is like, why does it have to be gay? It's like the Pompeii thing. So Pompeii with those corpses that were caught snuggling when they were on Earth, those bones that were cuddling, and it turns out they were both like ladies or they were both dudes, and the historians were like, why does everything have to be gay? Why can't they just be hugging each other in the midst of dying? And you've got a point there, my guy! But do you really want to be hugging a stranger when you're being covered in soot and suffocated? I think I'd at least try and seek out my significant other to give him one last smooch. Yeah, what a turn of events. The evolution of someone inserting their fucking Lancelot OC into the Knights of the Round Table lore to modern Fate Go making Lancelot a fucking lolly. What a time to be alive! A lolly that turns into a dragon. Way to go, Lancelot! What a good day. What a good day. I realize I haven't talked about any of the boats because I don't know their names. There's just a lot of YouTube content about sunk boats. A lot of British legends were very different from their historical basis, especially the historical history. Yeah, I know that it's not like anything accurate because shit was just so different. I think it's just really funny that an OC made it in. Some random lady's just OC. I respect her. I respect that ancient lady. Unless she's not real, and then I respect the fiction. But I think that's the lore of Lancelot. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, there's a lot of sunk boat stuff on YouTube. I shit you not. You just type in shipwrecks. YouTube will give you so much shit. So much shit. Absolutely fucking wild. And I'll put it on. I know I went down a rabbit hole for a couple of months where I was listening to creepypastas about sunk boats. Just shit people were writing on the internet. Just fake shit about fake boats. They were just making these things up left and right. They were like, the SS Megan Griffin sank, and I am the person that discovered it. But lo and behold, the SS McGriffin had ghosts on it. At the bottom of the ocean, I had to choose between sacrificing my team or saving my skin because the ghost of the SS McGriffin was trying to suck my dick. And I went down that rabbit hole, and I was listening to these things for like 3 to 4 hours at work. I was just tearing through them like, these are so fucking good. And then I realized that they were all kind of the same. Party A discovers sunken boat or ghost boat floating on the ocean. Party A gets funding to explore said sunk boat or ghost boat. Party B joins Party A. They have a awkward romance and sexual tension that is never addressed. They board sunk boat / ghost boat. They discover it's haunted or aliens. It's either ghosts or aliens. Thank God these were all creepypastas. Thank God they were also noted to be creepypastas, or my ass might have been like, the SS McGriffin? Tell me more! But they were all fake. And like, they'd have to survive and do a bunch of stuff. The one I remember most involved a deep sea parasite that could do like cordyceps stuff and take over your little brain goo. But they were at the bottom of the ocean exploring a boat. Perfect distance, despite being like 100 years old, with zero evidence of how Hawaii sunk. That would have been a good one. Too bad none of them thought of that. You know what? Someone's gonna say that now. Someone's gonna come in this stream and be like, this is a good fucking idea. I'm gonna steal it from this lolly's chat. And then I'll listen to it in 2 to 3 months from now and be like, wait a minute. And they'll name the boat Ina or something. And I'll be like, I'm flattered. That's actually an SCP. Man, if there was a sunk boat SCP, I'd probably be more invested in that fucking fandom. I'd be like, this is my SCP instead of like a spirit animal. This is my SCP. I relate to this SCP. It's a perfectly preserved sunk boat. Shit. But I don't know. There was a lot of creepypastas, and I guess it's a very popular genre. Ocean-based creepypastas are an extremely popular genre for some reason. Probably because the ocean is so mysterious. And some of these things are really well written. Like, you could actually, if you figured out to make it, how to make it like 100 or so pages longer, you'd have a short sci-fi novel right there, and you're posting it on a creepypasta forum. You could make I would be your #1 fan if there was someone who was writing sci-fi/horror novels about sunk boats, and they were just as well written as these creepypasta shorts. I would be your #1 fan. I'd show up to all of your book signings and I'd be like, I'm Ina, the VTuber. Can you address it to #1 sunk boat fan, Ina? Yeah, this is just scary. when you were 14, hell yeah, sunk boat time. See, the thing is that as much as I like sunk boats, I have no interest in like writing stuff about them. No fanfic, no creepypasta, nothing. I don't want to write it, I just want to consume. I don't want to put my effort into writing about them, I just want to eat it. I want to take a big old bite out of that content and then shuffle away. SCP started to get lame after like Series 2000 and beyond. And they shit on the original writers. A cool SCP about a submarine, which is technically a boat that sinks if you think about it. You're not wrong. A submarine is just a sunk boat that can unsink itself. Is there any more slides? Oh, here, this is the end. This is the end. I don't know if this counts as a special interest if I can't retain any information on the subject other than sunk boat. The end. That is the end of my presentation on sunk boats. Thank God I had a backup. Well, not a backup, but like game about boat. Boat. I don't know how to put it in to like words. It just, the sunk boats make me happy, which is kind of fucked up to think about because a lot of them are maritime disasters and people kind of lost their lives in those maritime disasters. But it's just the taste of it in my brain. The taste of it in my brain is just so good. Love it. I consume. Around the time that I was really into like boats and stuff, I got into black and white movies as well, like the original monster classics, like the original Frankenstein and the original Wolfman. I was a bit of a weird child. So, you know, checking about books on the Titanic to look at the pictures and be like, yep, that's the Titanic. And then also simultaneously checking out books on the classic monster films, Frankenstein and Wolfman and Dracula and all of those, and be like, I like those black and white pictures, and I like that actor. The guy who played Frankenstein, something Karloff. I like that man. He's a cool man. He's tall. The Wiki's administration shitting on its fans in the old articles, trying to promote their own articles and originals. It's just sort of weighing the popularity of SCPs. That's... The Frankenstein book was better than the movie monster. Yeah, I read the original Frankenstein book because of my interest in the black and white movies. And I actually like the book a lot more than the movie. But at the same time, the movie's pretty cool too. I like the bit where Frankenstein accidentally, almost... No, he doesn't almost. He drowns a child. I like that bit because it's like, hey... I like that bit. I don't know. She's like, I like throwing pretty flowers in the water, Frankenstein. And he's like, you're pretty. I'm gonna throw you in the river, and then when you drown, I don't understand. I like that bit, because he's just like an innocent child and doesn't understand that she doesn't know how to swim. Does that happen? It's been a while since I read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. So for a split second, a part of me believed that might have happened. There was a brief minute where I was like, I don't remember Mary Shelley being like that. Hey, he didn't do that. Okay. Alright. Alright. Well, that's the end of the sunk boat presentation. However, I do have a game. He just screamed and pissed his pants. I remember that. I don't know why he was so fucking scared of the thing. When he fucking made it. You made that thing, dum-dum! You wanted it to come back from the dead. Why'd you get so pissed? Yeah, post-playing God, he had that post-God clarity and was like, ah, shit. Ah, shit.